Right, we're at this stage. I'm taking off my top.
Shit. Yep, that's Paul with the squeakiest nipples you ever did hear.
Didn't hear any of that, so it's going to be a secret one.
Something to look forward to in the edit there. One of my notes for this is just that fucking puppy.
Fuck me.
Jesus Christ, could they have found a more tragically upsetting puppy? We're going to have to put him down, sir. Oh, but it's my birthday.
And I love you.
Woo, woo, woo.
Ruh-roh.
It's Lars von Trier, the dog. I got him in the face, folks. Don't worry.
We said no face.
Never believe Paul.
It's the last time.
Everyone knows about all old, salty in your face.
Facey McPaul. They call you.
Facey McPaul, as I'm known on the streets of Glasgow.
But you're Paulie McFace in London.
It's very confusing.
That's why they've had such a hard time tracking you down.
Yeah, I'm crafty like that.
All right, you win.
Yay. Hello, and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that seeks the maximum kill zone, inflicting the maximum damage on the maximum number of opponents. Maximum.
Natasha Henstridge.
I'm Paul Henstridge.
I really feel nothing at all.
Honest! Gulp. It's been another 10 episodes, so it's time for the Pauls to defend some much-maligned masterpiece of rubbish, whether those involved want us to or not. This time, both Pauls will be using their not insubstantial mouths to defend Equilibrium against ridicule, accusations of plagiarism, and the sands of time. The cruel, cruel sands of time that doth rob sweet Taye Diggs of his frivolity. See him gamble here with young Batman, and remember what the naughties brought.
Jeff from Saw.
See Jeff from Saw. Notice the life in his eyes.
And Dominic Purcell, second build on IMDb for some reason. Whoever the fuck he is.
Classic guy. He played Seamus. Who the fuck was Seamus in this?
The cleric is the final line of defense. If the resistance compromises it, we are doomed.
Cleric, I can only hope one day to be as uncompromising as you.
Equilibrium was a 2002 action movie starring Christian Bale and directed by Kurt Wimmer. Critics clearly forgot their emotion-suppressing medicine because they energetically shat all over it. Michael Takina, at The Movie Report, said in a review that has aged excellently well, who knew that a reunion of Metroland stars Bale and Watson could yield something so downright nutty? Look, we all loved Metroland, okay?
we
Everybody
all queued
always
up
talks about
for hours.
Metroland's Christian Bale. Christian Bale, star of Metroland.
Rejoins Emily Watson, also Metroland. That's right, guys.
Synecdoche what?
Third build, Sean Bean. You know, from Sharp. I couldn't think of anything less popular than Sharp, or less well-known. Sorry.
Ronan?
That's pretty good, I'll give you that. From the blooper reel of GoldenEye.
Jonathan Foreman at the New York Post says, illiterate, often inert sci-fi action thriller. And I'm just throwing that in because it's a nice change from all the critics accusing Wimmer of ripping off Orwell, Bradbury, and Huxley. Guys, you're giving this guy too much credit.
He's a fucking idiot.
He cannot fucking read. Guys, you're all accusing me of plagiarism, but let me put your minds at ease.
Derp to derp.
Not read a fucking thing. Another critic said, this movie is so devoid of emotional content, the clerics probably wouldn't even bother burning it. That was actually me who wrote that. I thought it was good. The film has 38% on Rotten Tomatoes and 33% on Metacritic.
Boo.
But don't worry, because Kurt Wimmer did not make this movie for the critics, conveniently. In an interview with Sci-Fi Dimensions, which is a website, not a collection of alternate realities, he said, why would I make a movie for someone I wouldn't want to hang out with? Have you ever met a critic you wanted to party with? I haven't. Now, I'm not much of one for partying, Paul. But I really love the idea of Equilibrium as a fucking party boy movie. You know, cruising in the Lamb, eating halal, hitting on bitches, watching Equilibrium.
Spelling my Papi Bum tunes. I mean, I'd party with Roger Ebert back in the day, you know, when he was alive. I could go a round of G&Ts with Mark Kermode, I reckon.
Yeah.
Before realising that I'd haven't said a single word for 15 minutes.
Before he realised that as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Hang on, has it just been me? Or has it been both of us? I can't tell. No, just me. Oh, okay. As usual.
Who did you prefer? Would you prefer Kermode or Mayo for a night on the town? Pretend that you're a night on the town sort of guy. Pretend that you've ever wanted to do that ever.
You know what? Mayo will make sure you get home safely, but Kermode, he'll take you places.
Home.
Places you didn't even know about.
Gosh.
Oh god. Hey, Mr. Wimmer, what do you make of all these film critics who call your work silly and derivative? I don't care. They're not my friends. I wouldn't go drinking with them. My friends get it. Not the critics, who are super lame.
That wouldn't work for much else, would it? Are you gonna go home and go back to your study and rewrite that peer-rejected paper on the efficacy of piss as a life elixir? I don't care. Scientists aren't my friends.
I wouldn't want to go partying with a bunch of scientists. You should always accept an invitation to go partying with scientists. That's a Paul and Paul guarantee. Well, all the party boys on Amazon had this to say. Pedro at Amazon said, I love Equilibrium. It's one of my favourite films of all time, just because it's so hilariously bad.
Oh.
The acting is lousy, the script feels like it was thrown together in 10 minutes, and the gun martial arts that enable the main character to dodge opposing bullets whilst barely moving is beyond stupid. Mm. But all of this makes the film a delight to watch. Don't listen to the one-star reviews. Those people have no sense of humour. This film is amazing. You just have to be slightly drunk to fully appreciate its genius. This is Kurt Wimmer's People here. Slightly more earnestly, Shin's Fortress at Amazon said, I think this is the best thing Christian Bale has ever done. Better than his overwrought Batman performances. How overwrought they were.
Oh, his voice is silly, isn't it? That's a legitimate complaint for all the Batman movies, in my mind.
As opposed to his subtlety in this.
Yeah. Fuck you, everyone.
So, Paul, your adorable puppy that I need to shoot in the face.
Hi.
What's one thing about Equilibrium that made you want to go partying with Kurt Wimmer?
Is all that good bloody art in it that was trashed?
Oh, man.
Because it was too good. Or crap, depending on where your stance on parties lie.
Do you suppose the Tetragrammatrons are just like the harshest art critics ever?
Oh, they're all like
So
A.A. Gill. Burn it. Yeah, no, it was good watching all that being set on fire and thrown in a ditch. Really made me appreciate who I was.
What happens in Equilibrium?
It wouldn't be a naughty sci-fi genre masterpiece without 2.5 minutes of exposition at the beginning. It is, I guess you could ostensibly say that it is a video that the bloody government has made for the public.
Yes, handily, these videos are playing pretty much 24/7 no matter where you are, just in case you might need a quick update. How do we feel about emotions again?
So we have created a new arm of the law. The Grammaton Cleric, whose sole task it is to seek out and eradicate the true source of man's inhumanity to man, his ability to feel.
This is the premise is there's been lots of wars. Wars are bad.
There's been some bad wars.
And there was a third one which was extra bad because of nuclear weapons, probably. And so...
And Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein probably did it. And
Yeah.
Stalin. He was in that video. Stalin lived.
came
Alternate
back.
histories.
Shit.
What if Saddam Hussein and a bunch of mercenaries broke into the Kremlin, which is where Stalin's being mummified, right? It's not Lenin, somewhere else. Anyway, what do they break him out, bring him back to life, a la Walt Disney, if that happened. And then said, you and me together, look at our moustaches.
Do. You and me gonna start a war. So those two besties destroy the world.
Yeah. After Third World War, the people of the world go, well, we can't be having any more of this. This is a fucking nightmare. So I've got this jug. I've got a jug full
Drugs.
full of prosium, which I also invented. I did jugs and prosium.
He kicks the empty packets of Prozac underneath a desk. I invented it, guys. I call it prosium.
Tastes like wine and barbiturates. Well, you know, they pass around the peace jug, and it turns out that none of them have the will to power anymore. This is good.
Well, none of them feel emotions ever.
Yeah. Oh, and no more emotions. So what's happened is they created a society called...
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Futurenomicon.
Yeah, Utopipom and
Brave New Worldinia. 1985.
Which is actually a very good analysis and novel by Anthony Burgess, author of The Clockwork Orange. Anyway, it's true. It's not funny. It's true. And so this world, basically, there's no more violence. There's no more violence, and
or feelings.
But there's also no more emotion. Art is banned. You can't do art. You can't do art. You can't look at art. You can't sit on art.
Nope.
Knowingly,
Eddie Murphy.
Anyway.
Eddie Murphy was incinerated.
Oh gosh, him and Michael Myers.
No more of either of them.
Yeah, all gone. All the greats. Jim Carrey only barely made it.
At some point, the clerics must have reclaimed, like, fucking Fant Four-Stick. And burned it with a somber tear going down somebody's face. Never again.
Do you reckon, though, that they looked at certain people's oeuvre and went, do you know what? Just keep this.
I mean, the people who decided to remain feeling had impeccable taste because their dens were always done up with classical artworks, very carefully laid out to be easily displayed to anyone who happened upon them. You know, Beethoven. What if fucking Christian Bale had put the record on and there was a moment of silence, and then after a few seconds, don't stop moving, everybody's grooving.
It was Christmas with the Crankies, a Christmas holiday special. I didn't know the Crankies released a Christmas album.
Grandpa, I love you.
No.
The first time he's heard music.
Yeah.
So as we've indicated, the clerics are the head of this police force who have to go around destroying all of this art. Because otherwise people might see it and feel things in spite of their prosium. Because art is stronger than drugs, according to Kurt Wimmer, party man. At the beginning of the film, he gets called in and he shoots a bunch of things. Sean Bean is his partner, but he pockets a book of Yeats.
Yeats, yeah.
And a packet of yeast. Is it Yates?
I think it's Yates, but we can still say yeast. You're thinking of Keats.
It's Waits. Oh, there you go. That'll be it.
Yeah. Well, he also pocketed some Keats and some Keast.
And some Tom Waits.
Yeah. And some dumbbell weights.
He's weighed down to fuck. He rolls out of this building.
Getting swole is also considered an art in the future.
Patrick Bateman in the car asks Ned Stark, hey, how come you got that book of poetry on you? Well...
Fuck! I mean...
Shit! I'm just taking it to be processed.
You know, evidence.
I could have just burnt it in the big pile of burning stuff back there.
I mean, if that's not processing, Sean, then you tell me what is. It's like, I panicked. I mean, I didn't panic. I know exactly
what I did.
Processing.
Anyway, Christian Bale says, every time I see this metropolis-looking city with its balloons that it has for some fucking reason, I'm just reminded of why it is that we do what we do.
Every time we come from the Nethers to the city, reminds me why we do what we do.
It does?
I beg your pardon?
It does.
Oh, fucking are you? Ooh, I'm Christian Bale, and I think the ends justify the means. What did you say? I said, oh, fucking does it? Ooh, I'm Christian Bale, and I think the ends justify the means. Buh. Okay, that's better.
And then Christian Bale looks at him and goes, you've been alive an awfully long time so far, Sean Bean. Anyway, next scene.
Next scene, he shoots him in the head.
Yeah, he shoots him in the head because he's reading poetry and he quotes it. And Christian Bale doesn't even feel anything about Yeats.
Yeah,
he's that far gone.
Yeah,
you couldn't even show him a Jim Carrey film and he'd look at it like it was shit on a wall.
He finds this out because he goes to the place where apparently Sean Bean had handed in the evidence. And he's like, did Sean Bean come by here and drop off some evidence? And he's like, no, look at my handwritten book. Why do you have a handwritten book of all this shit? Doesn't that really annoy you? What do you mean by annoy? Oh, yeah, fuck.
Never mind.
I hate this place.
Also, for a place that seemingly has no emotion, why is your book on a spinning Jenny sort of contraption? Sure, that's something purely for flair.
He's suggesting that no impassionate society could invent anything as elegant and beautiful as the fucking spinning Jenny. Hello, OG team. Inevitably, you've noticed that the pools are talking about the spinning Jenny, which is a multi-spindle spinning frame and one of the key developments in the industrialization of weaving during the early Industrial Revolution. Whereas in fact, they obviously mean the Lazy Susan, which wasn't key in the development of anything, least of all this gag. I hope you'll eventually forgive us, and we'll be able to move on together as a people and as an OGT.
Why would you have a need to dramatically fling your book around for the person on the other side of the desk to look at it?
Your book swivels! Dan, dan, dan! Dan, dan, dan!
He just burst into the gun cutter to take out one guy. That's a little bit much, isn't it, Christian Bale? It's almost like you're a little bit too emotionally invested in this. Oh no!
Dan, dan, dan!
Dun, dun. Do you know what? As guards of the fucking Utopia Dorp, we're awful emotionally about almost dying, aren't we? Anyway, so yeah, he does get shot in the face.
Yep, Taye Diggs of OGT legend. He's been mentioned about an inexplicably large amount of times in this podcast, I think.
Great name, great face, great personality.
The problem is every time, he has, and he is, but every time someone mentions his name, he comes back into existence, and he's like, oh, why can't I die?
He does have rather a large head in this, and as somebody from that camp, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just he's got a nice rictus grin and a big old Taye Diggs head, and he's just happy to be here.
Well, he is happy actually. He comes in and he tells Christian Bale, I'm really pleased to have been assigned to you. Pleased? Dan, dan, dan.
Pleased in a professional sense.
Just
I see.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, well,
Womp, womp, womp.
I definitely don't feel... No, he says, and then he skips off.
It turns out that Christian Bale has a bit of a tragic backstory because his fucking spouse was arrested and incinerated for sense offence.
Yeah.
Sense offence is what they call it when people feel things, and it's coincidentally also what I call my farts.
Oh, you.
My spouse was arrested and incinerated for sense offence 4 years ago, sir.
My uncle was shredded for similar reasons.
They put all my dogs through a blender. My gran was threshed.
My grandpa was stapled to a horse. It was the rough days back then. He's left as a single Christian Bale dad with his terrifying son and non-existent daughter.
And daughter who is obviously feeling emotions quite rampantly, but never mind.
The whole fucking time.
Yeah. Breakfast in that household. You can make a sitcom out of it. DuPont, Angus McFadden comes in and he asks Christian Bale, when your wife was, when we murdered her in a fire.
Yeah.
How's that sitting with you? Comes and goes. Ups and downs. Roundabouts. Swings and roundabouts. Is that the saying? I don't know. I don't feel anything.
Only an emotion person will think about a swing. What are fairgrounds like in this society? Just kids being pushed slowly around. Can we go faster, Daddy? No. That's okay.
I understand. Yeah, so...
Society is so dumb.
God. Anyway, they go, okay, I believe that you don't feel anything. So, we want you to go off and, kill some people who do. Here's Taye Diggs, who looks like really is relishing this a little bit too much. He was probably just glad for the role, and Kurt Wimmer was like, I know you're happy for this, and look, you are going to get paid whatever you do. Can you just stop smiling just for a second?
Can you just fucking cool it for a second, please, Taye Diggs? He's in his bedroom. He's in his dystopian bedroom, where pillows and blankets are a sign of emotion, apparently.
Yeah,
he just lies on the fucking mattress on his arm. Yeah. And he decides then and there that he's going to not take his dose that morning. Well, he breaks it.
It smashes, yeah. So God decides for him.
His son in his dystopian turtleneck shows up and asks him if he's going to replace his dose. Or he tells him he's going to replace his dose, is more accurate.
Then you'll go by equilibrium, log the loss, and get a replacement.
And he says, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
Yeah, he just doesn't. And Taye Diggs pulls up outside the place where you get your... What the fuck is it? Prosium, where you get your prosium refilled. And he goes, oh, you're already done. It usually takes ages. No, I got it.
Look, here it is, look.
Got it. Oh, already eaten it.
Yum, yum, yum.
Fuck. So they go off and they go and kill more people who sense offend. Basically,
literally all of my notes now are just about them killing people with sense offense and me finding the public service announcements amusing.
That is basically what happens.
That is basically the movie. Such as the fucking one about the gun carter, in which you're encouraged to treat the weapon as a total weapon.
The gun carter treats the gun as a total weapon, each fluid position representing a maximum kill zone, inflicting maximum damage on the maximum number of opponents.
Treat the gun like a total weapon.
It was lacking beforehand, definitely.
It was very much a multi-tool.
Yeah. How can we make this more lethal? I reckon, with a healthy suspension of disbelief, they kill sense offenders. Christian Bale in no way hides his distaste at murdering innocent people anymore.
No.
Also,
as part of his new emotional regime, he runs his hand down a handrail and kind of gets a bit emotional about that. His handrail is so filthy.
He peels the thin film from his window and looks at the CGI backdrop and gets all emotional over that.
He rearranges his desk insignificantly, like really badly as well. Like puts the stapler in the middle of the desk like a fucking lunatic.
Eventually, he finds his way to another sense offender house full of Emily Watson. Who is a sense offence in her own right.
Yeah, that happens quite.
Look at her. Just look at her.
She's a total offence to sense.
He breaks through a wall. There's some Beethoven in a different room in another house.
Yeah, that happens later on. But I love him getting all emotional at that because he's not saying anything, and I just like the idea that he's just breaking down. This music's awful. I hate it so much.
I'm glad it's in the fire.
I'm going to burn it twice. I'm
getting ahead of myself. Emily Watson, sense offence in her own right. He has a look in a mirror because, she should be disgusted in herself, but, she's beautiful.
Oh, she's
hot.
Look
at you.
Even just before that, though, before he does his ninja whipping of her over to the fucking mirror, he's like, look what sensing things has done to you. Look at yourself. Look. And Taye Diggs is just like, this is fine. It's all good.
By the book, cleric, by the book. She's sent to jail for being a twat.
Yeah.
And he's won over at this point. He's like, I finally understand that having emotions is good.
Yes. Just to really clear that up for the audience, outside they've decided to start shooting puppies, which Christian Bale objects to.
Yeah. Oh no! He says. I mean, processing? He's like, fuck. I didn't believe that when Sean Bean told me. What am I saying? I'm an idiot.
He could be infected. I better go test this adorable puppy.
Not before they murder all the other dogs. And Christian Bale goes, ah! Every single time they do it.
Ooh!
Just reminded me how much I love killing sense offenders, he says. Oh, yeah. Anyway, off
Not
I
love,
go.
Do.
Off I go to not be sick in a van.
He goes and complains to Angus McFadden that, the fucking force of nature. He goes and complains to Jeff from Saw. Those people probably should have been questioned. Look, there's a new edict. Now all sense offenders have to be killed immediately with no further questions. But that's not logical. You've got to have some faith. Some cold, logical faith. All right. I don't think you're leading me into a definite trap where you're just going to kill me, but I am going to just load my gun.
I don't know if you've noticed, none of us are any good at reading anyone, actually. So I'm just going to...
all sense offenders, and we're all just bullshitting each other all the fucking time.
If anyone asks, it was always our plan all along, on both sides, always. Okay, good. I'm going to go off and continue having an emotional breakdown. All right, I'm going to go back and just keep telling myself that this was the plan all along. So Christian Bale...
He goes to let the dog go.
Yeah, he goes. Oh, that's it. He goes to let the dog go. How could I forget? This is the scene that I was looking forward to the most in the entire film. I was watching this with Nell, and she couldn't really remember any of the film. And I said, I remember this bit being amazing. He tries to get rid of the dog, and the dog doesn't go because he's bloody adorable.
Oh, he's too sweet to go.
He loves Christian Bale for not murdering him. And...
I'll never survive out here. I can't get my dog voice.
Oh, no! And he's just, I can't...
Goes hoarse.
I can't keep making my own dog voices because I can't resist them. So adorable. So he puts him back in the boot and gives him his coat because then the sense police come up. Bloody thought police, adorable. Mate, more like. And
2018.
They say identification. Who are you? It's a sense offence. And he goes, no, I'm a cleric. You're a cleric.
You're not.
He goes, you're not. You're not. You blood. Oh, you are actually. Wait, guys, hold off. He obviously is the most famous cleric. In all of Utopidom.
It was your bad side showing in the light there, but now you've turned slightly. Clearly,
yeah. I see when you were getting ready to do the thing, the gun. And,
no, look, I am a cleric. Look, dun, dun, dun. See, that's. Oh yeah,
yeah, it's brilliant. Hey guys, it's cleric Preston, Tetragrammaton cleric Preston.
Sounds so shit when you think of it like that. Cleric Preston, I've come to do your garden.
Oh, it's cleric Preston. Can you sign my helmet? Are you taking the piss? Wouldn't dream of it, mate. Sorry. I just think you're doing a really good thing for the community, and all my kids really proud of you. I mean,
proud. Dan.
Going well. That's that thing again. Brilliant.
Woof. Oh, there's a dog. Shoot, all dead.
Oh yeah, there's a dog.
Shoots all of them.
He murders them all. He's a sense offender. They say scared, but not because they're also not feeling.
Taye Diggs comes in and is like, okay, we've investigated the crime scene. Who do you think did it? Probably some Outlanders.
Yeah, separatists.
Separatists must have been. But it looked like the killer sought the maximum kill zone, inflicting the maximum damage on the maximum number of opponents. Well, he got lucky. It's not as hard as we
Lucky
make
chance.
it look.
They all believed that the person was a cleric. And once you believe, with the power of belief, you can do anything.
Equilibrium. Dan, dan, dan.
We were in a world with only wars. It was bad. So friend, take my jug full of drugs. It is rad.
Prosium.
Best I could do an Equilibrium musical. If I can just get Ben Elton on board, we could do an Equilibrium musical.
Don't kill me, I'm an adorable dog. I
Woof,
must.
he says.
They mustn't suspect me.
Luckily,
Look out, I'm Taye Diggs.
No one will ever know that I feel things.
I'm Taye Diggs.
Every song, I'm Taye Diggs, it was called. So
In between that and the next Patter song, well, they go shoot another bunch of people. For fuck's sake, so much of this is just they rock up and shoot a whole bunch of people, burn some artwork. Bale looks balefully at some stuff, and then they just move on.
Well, this time he kills more guards in another scene that I remember being very, very cool, and that I also alerted Nell to being an excellent scene.
Just patting at her face. Watch it.
As my waxwork grin melts over my mouth. No, it's great. It's great. The good bit's coming.
I love how much setting up he got to do before they fucking realised he was a sensor fencer.
Cleric, what's happening? We heard gunshots. Go! What are you doing? Cleric! The resistance fighters! Cleric! He's a sensor fencer!
I wonder where he's going with this.
Let's just see.
Might be a treat.
He runs them all into a trap set up by Taye Diggs, and Taye Diggs is now, I think he's starting to cotton on to the fact that Cleric Preston is a bit
might be feeling things based on his heavily erratic behaviour.
He says, "I think you should kill the guys that we trapped together, eh?" And
buddy.
And after literally 15 minutes of looking at the guys, back at his gun, and back at Taye Diggs.
At one of the guy who's shaking his head.
Yeah.
No, please don't kill us.
We were friends. It's Jimmy from the last room.
You said we'd always be friends.
Must I do? I have a gun. He must die.
I'm Taye Diggs.
And then Taye Diggs and Christian Bale walk just out of shot. Not before the guy fucking nods at Christian Bale to be like, "Thanks for that, guy," and Christian Bale just fucking nods back, like, "Don't mention it."
Is anybody watching any of this shit? Does anyone notice how sketchy this fucking guy is? I think he might be Batman. And they go behind.
No. Yes, and
They
Taye
go
Diggs just
behind
fucking.
the group of people about to get shot. It's like, mates, don't go back there. That's the direction we're about to shoot in. That's dangerous,
It's like,
mate.
"Oh, I know. I don't feel anything. I don't mind," he says. But
Kill me,
at this stage,
whatever.
Taye Diggs is really looking at Christian Bale as if to say, "I fucking got your number, mate. I'm a genius, and I finally figured this out."
God.
So at this stage, Preston Cleric is spending more time with Emily Watson because he finds out that Sean Bean was dating Emily Watson, and good on him is what I say. Hey, lads.
We found out that Emily Watson had been awkwardly photoshopped into a picture with Sean Bean. And so he goes to find out who did that.
Turns out it was love all along.
I'm a big fan of Sharp and Ronan. He goes and meets with Angus McFadden, and he's like, "Look, I am going to go find the underground, the Velvet Underground."
Yeah.
Well, they've probably got some Velvet Underground. He goes and says, "I'm going to go find the underground," and then McFadden says, "To destroy it." He's like, "Yeah." Glad we clarified that.
You almost tripped me up there, Angus.
No, I'm going to...
Not that easy.
He did not fall into my trap. I must find him another way. Where is my Taye Diggs?
He is right.
Oh, what a range.
Yeah, I know. That's why you hired Taye Diggs. So he goes into the underground. He beats up a teacher in order to find William Fickner. And William Fickner says, "I've been watching you for a long time. Somehow, I'm the underground." And he goes, "Brilliant. Well, how do we? What do we do?" So they hatch a plan.
Yeah.
And the plan basically just keep doing what you're doing and just pretend that it's your plan. just say it.
Just fucking go along with it. He goes back, he visits
Yeah.
Emily Watson, who is inexplicably being given makeup and new dresses in this fucking brightly lit prison. Oh, what have we got now? Some caustic light coming from above. Brilliant. It's like fucking Blade Runner. What is this prison? It's a prison / experimental art theatre.
It's where they would have held Napoleon if he was alive today.
He goes and sees Angus McFadden again, who says, "Are you playing with me, cleric?"
No,
He's like,
he says,
"No."
He says,
Are you playing with me, cleric?
"Stop! You're
Sir?
bullshit."
"I will redouble my efforts, sir." All right, fine. Is redouble a word? Whatever, just go. Did anyone else just see him shout at me like a fucking maniac? Are we all meant to be not feeling?
Are any of us in here feeling? Barry?
Wait, hang on a minute. Have we all stopped taking this fucking medication? And none of us are telling each other.
Oh, no way!
But not... Dun.
Nobody's fucking feeling because Taye Diggs is fucking losing it. He is... His lips are peeling back over his teeth like a fucking wolf. And he's chuckling as he punches Christian Bale in the face.
Yeah.
Christian Bale...
He drags him in.
Yeah, well, Emily Watson is burnt alive.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
She's burnt all
Christian
up.
Bale cries in the street in front of
Yeah.
thousands of people.
Open and shut case for Taye Diggs.
I know. It's my job to know when somebody's feeling. He says, "I'm almost on to you, mate."
Picked up on all the subtle cues.
Of a grown man weeping.
He brings him in and he's like, "I think you'll find if you run his gun that he's the one who killed all those clerics. All those fucking motorcycle dudes.
Yeah.
For a puppy earlier." And he's like, "Okay, so we'll just run ballistics. I can't believe we don't keep these ballistics on file anyway. Oh, well, I'll run it now."
Yeah.
"Oh, it turns out that it was your gun that was used to do the killing. But you didn't take my gun to test. You took his gun to test. How did you know? My gun's still here in my pocket." Well, anyway, it was your gun that did it.
Well, that's not how it works.
Oh, because he swapped guns.
He switched them.
Oh, no, wait. He swapped guns after he killed them with his gun. "But I have your gun." "Yeah, you took it off me when you arrested me." No. That's the one I just gave it to him. What the fuck?
See, I have his gun now.
Of course you do. You took it when you arrested me.
What?
Hang on. Everyone calm down.
What was that flashback that you just showed us, Christian Bale? Okay, well, I showed the flashback of me giving you my gun.
Right, after you used it to kill your gun.
No. Well, no. Well,
Wait! I can explain this.
well, yes, but no. No, I gave you my gun. Yes, but
Which,
after you used it to kill people.
yeah. So now it's yours.
Is it like an Ollivanders sort of scenario where when you're given the gun, it's now your gun?
But that means that they just...
Yeah, no, you had to go. You remember Taye Diggs when you went to John Hurt's gun shop, and he handed you all those different guns with the different filaments. One of them had Angus McFadden's beard hair in it.
They handed you each one, and it was just like, "No, nothing. How about this one? No, nothing. How about this one? Dun. This is the one.
Oh, thank you, John Hurt.
It's chosen you."
Now you found your gun. You must pass the final test. Shoot me in the fucking head. No? Oh well, next time.
Pussy.
You
Anyway, Taye Diggs gets arrested some fucking how.
Yeah.
And John
it's-
Cleric goes back home. That's not his name. He goes back home. in order to-
Norman Cleric. Yeah.
John shoot him in the head. He goes back home where the guards are waiting for him, saying, "Sorry, sir, it's just a routine. We've got to search the flat." And he's like, "That's
is
fine.
fine.
That's fine. I've got nothing to hide." And he steps just out of frame, and then the sound of him loudly running up the stairs must have echoed through the fucking place.
Oh god, oh fuck, oh shit!
Shit.
You always do this! Preston!
Are your men already inside? Yes, they are. Excellent. Excuse me.
He literally fucking stops in what must be the most heavily surveillanced city in the world to pant furiously and catch his breath before strolling merrily into the flat. Hello, everyone.
Yes, I have nothing to hide.
His boy hid all the things.
His
turns
terrifying
out-
turtleneck kid.
Yeah, and obviously the daughter too, because she spent literally the entire film smiling, crushing cereal under a spoon, and looking hurt
Dancing
and scared of her
couple
brother.
of
Which, to be honest, you would need a fucking lot of prosium to not be scared of that, Damien.
Your new partner called. He says I'll pick you up at 10 for the A&R. I hope you don't mind. I took the liberty of telling him you would be at equilibrium replacing your dose.
He's the one who's triggered this. He's the messiah of this society. His terrifying turtleneck has really saved us all.
So he says to his young boy, you know what I've got to do? And he says, yes, fine, do it.
Go ahead.
I've got to bring down society. So with the help of William Fichtner...
yes, who turned themselves in, pretending to be his prisoners.
Yeah, and this was the plan all along, they say.
And so, yes, he walks in, he's had them all arrested, and, he's going to meet the father, and he's going to shoot him in the head. Great. And they say, oh, we do have a test we need you to do. A test? A test? My scheme! Oh, I mean, sure.
I'm ready for any test. I have nothing to hide. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
anyway,
so they
shoots everyone.
He shoots everyone. It turns out that Taye Diggs wasn't arrested because it was their plan all along to in order to get the resistance into a van and get the resistance ended. They had to pretend to kill Taye Diggs.
Yep, even him failing, even him starting to feel stuff apparently was all part of this big old mechanical plan.
Fantastic. And so Christian Bale, murders about 150 people while the propeller heads, not the lobby scene track, comes on.
He charges into the main office, and Angus McFadden says, "Have you ever heard of knocking?" And Taye Diggs fucking loves that.
It's a great one, boss.
That was a great gag.
Oh, I love you.
I can't wait to tell my wife, May Diggs, that.
Did I mention that I'm going to go and get my prosium adjusted? Yes, Taye Diggs. I just fucking love this job. Is all
very good.
I fucking love it.
What? I mean,
logically, it's the best suit for me. Taye Diggs.
He slices off Taye Diggs' face and shoots Angus McFadden.
Bombs go off. Society's overturned, and we're met with a French Revolution-style anarchy. And Christian Bale is pleased.
Ooh, how sinister. He was the bad guy the whole time.
Oh my
gosh. He was Prosium.
All hell Prosium.
Written and directed by Kurt Zimmer.
And Uwe Boll.
So, now a little context. I saw this film 2003 or 4. Mm-hmm. I can't tell because actually it seems it was released quite late in the UK. I rented it from a Blockbuster that had just opened opposite the school. So suddenly it was like, holy shit, we can pick up a movie each day on the way home.
God, back in the day when it wasn't chicken shops.
New Blockbuster. It was the first day of summer, I remember. And I also had just acquired Max Payne on fucking PS2. And this summer was going to be all about Equilibrium and Max Payne. I really fucking remember Equilibrium being the start of this amazing long summer and just this feeling of, this is fucking great. I've never seen action like this. It's like The Matrix, but like with even fancier gun movements. And it's actually got some feels at the heart of it as well.
Yeah, now you mention it, I remember watching it and thinking, cinema can do literally anything. And how I associate...
I want to know what love is. Thanks, Kurt Wimmer, for showing me.
And I do remember enjoying the story well enough, but the film, for me, was really held up by the action.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, it's basically the opposite now.
The action is the nadir of it for you.
I actually enjoyed the plot and his discovery more than the action.
It's funny, because I always remember really liking his discovery, and the moment of him at the window really stuck in my mind. Yeah. Although, actually, I now think that it was a much more beautiful moment until you see the big CGI city.
Yeah. That is absolutely it.
For me, the main takeaway here is the stuff. Some of it is still cool. A lot of the action doesn't look so great anymore. There's a couple of sequences that are still good. Some shots that are still fun, but it hasn't aged great.
I found that the action, for the gun kata in particular, you really, really have to suspend disbelief. For it to work. When he's in a circle of guards and he's moving his arms around, there's ample time for somebody just to blast him,
quickly shoot him,
just to fucking ice that fool.
Isn't that the way with all action sequences though? Isn't it always a case of someone's just sort of hanging out back there
with his family? yes, definitely. There's always somebody running in circles or beating up himself.
Yeah,
but in this, it's obvious is the issue.
Okay. That's interesting, because that wasn't my problem with the action. Most of it was just that the effects have aged badly. Like the darkness scene, the scene where it's complete darkness, and then suddenly it's illuminated by his gunshots. It's so obviously not a bloke there. It's so obviously some sort of weird, cheesy animation that has his hands sort of whipping around whilst he remains perfectly still. And it's just very silly.
Yes, the whipping of the hands with the sound effects are very silly. I remember the one when he's wearing white because symbolism, and he's taking out that corridor of people, and he's reloading his guns in all those interesting ways. I remember the backflip being amazing. And the backflip was it's the opposite of amazing.
Wait,
was
this
like-
is distinct from the backflip over the bike earlier on.
Oh, yes.
Which also
Oh, God.
has aged terribly. That looks so bad. It looks like a shot from King Kong.
And the one in the corridor, he's shooting people, he stops, he turns 180 degrees and does a backflip to shoot some more people. and it is the most cumbersome of all gun kata moves that I ever did see. And it's there are a lot of moves like that which are like, hey bros, open me a beer and come over here. Don't you think if Christian Bale did a fucking backflip right now, that would be tits and not gay?
Oh, thanks, Kurt Wimmer. I can't wait to party with you later.
I can't wait to write the new Point Break with you.
Yeah, after this movie, Kurt Wimmer very much specialised in making movies that make you go, oh yeah. He worked on Sphere, the movie with, what's his name? Dustin Hoffman at the bottom of a river.
Oh yeah.
He worked on The Recruit, that really fucking convoluted, nightmarishly complicated Al Pacino, Ethan Hawke thing.
Oh yeah.
Ultraviolet. With that, was that the one? Because I always mix it up with Aeon Flux. That song with Mia, Resident Evil.
Oh, Jovovich.
Jovovich, that's the one. Law Abiding Citizen, remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I like that one.
Salt with with the fucking, with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
The Total Recall remake.
Oh, did he direct that?
That's the thing now. No, he just wrote it. That's his thing now, is he's the remake guy, because he's done Total Recall, Point Break, and you want to know what big movie he's remaking now?
No.
Oh wait, this might not actually be a remake. The film is called Twister, so obviously my hopes go up.
Obviously.
But the storyline is Bobby, just out of a mental institution, takes the identity of a man seeking to appropriate a big inheritance, not realizing that he may be getting into more trouble than it's worth.
Oh.
Dan. And then they chase a twister.
To prove himself.
With Helen Hunt. So yeah, Kurt Wimmer's career did not endure. Yeah. Let's move on. So action, it's no John Wick.
It's definitely not a John Wick.
It lacks plausibility, and some of the composite effects have really aged badly. And the fucking soundtrack just makes it so silly.
Yeah.
But for me, this is the big thing about the film, is all the stuff that has aged is now fucking hilarious.
Yes.
I did not realize how funny this movie is when I was a kid. When Christian Bale holds a fucking puppy up that licks his like... Yeah. Does it lick his face?
It licks his face.
Or is it just... It licks his face. And he just has to pretend he's not feeling anything. It's so funny.
Which, I don't know if he was supposed... Like, if his direction was to pretend badly. or that he was just very bad at doing it and everyone else was.
Those noises were being made by Christian Bale. The thing is, having everyone act incredibly stony-faced makes for quite a boring film, which is another complaint a lot of people had about this. But having everyone just sort of gulp throughout the whole thing just makes it very silly, because everyone is so obviously feeling things throughout.
There were still some great emotional moments of discovery when it's just him on his own, or him and Emily Watson, even though you really got to assume that interrogation room was under heavy surveillance.
You mean when he throws her onto the desk, but then no, she tries to stab him, then he wrestles her down, and then he kind of strokes her face. God, you're beautiful when you're trying to kill me.
Finally, now I see this face up close. Emily, you and me.
I can see what Sean Bean saw in you.
I'm Taye Diggs. Get out of my head, Taye Diggs. You don't belong in here.
Stop trying to sense offense me.
If you sense offense me one more time, mate. Fucking
like
do you.
Slice your face off.
But there were plenty of hidden emotional moments that I think were...
little details.
That could have carried the weight, and then you could have had him being stony-faced, and it might have made the film tense,
yes.
Rather than just hilarious.
The main theme of the thing, I know it's quite blunt and unsubtle, but it has been handled better elsewhere. Brave New World had, the populace taking drugs in order to alter their feelings, ultimately meaning that they now are unable to feel feelings without the drugs. And I think Fahrenheit 9/11, 451, God damn it, Michael Moore. I think Fahrenheit 451 had a similar deal with his wife sort of hooked on sort of recreational drugs issued by the government. So it's an interesting idea. I just can't see any civilization ever going for it. Hey everyone, how about this pill that kills off all emotion? Like, all of it. I know it's like a commentary on Prozac, and and there's much to be made about Prozac. Is it over-medicated? Psychotropic drugs in general, I have as many friends who have had terrible experiences of it, and it's really sort of done them harm, as I have people who just literally couldn't live their lives without them. So it's inexact science.
But maybe Kurt Wimmer's heavy-handed style is a commentary on the heavy-handed nature of prescription drugs.
Ah, you see?
Oh, he's a genius.
He's a heavy-handed genius.
It's interesting, and I like the ending for that. When fucking anarchy takes over. It's an interesting question. Do you
free will is worth the risk?
Do you accept that? And I could understand why some people might take it after a nuclear Third World War. We all played Fallout 4.
How about no more fun ever? Or love, or anything.
Sounds great. I mean, get him! But I meant to play dueling banjos there, but it just came out as yakety sax on the banjo, which is better. But I'm willing to suspend willing to suspend disbelief with everybody being on board with taking the drugs,
right?
But then I wasn't with the gunfights, so it's all over the place. Really, you need wholesale suspension of disbelief, or it's aged well, because in a sense, if it was badly reviewed by a lot of people, maybe it can take its place as a sort of wonderful cult film.
Yeah, I think it is, because it's still entertaining. I was very surprised to find so much of it to be so bad it's good. But Angus McFadden is fucking cheesing it up. Christian Bale is so hilarious in his attempts to just be stony-faced, but also this incredibly emotional lead. And there's some moments that do still work as quite sweet or quite exciting, as they were intended to.
Yeah.
But so much of what doesn't work is now funny.
Yes.
That it's a very entertaining film to watch. So I thought we would come back and I would find, Minority Report. I dread to watch Minority Report now. I imagine that's aged quite poorly as well. But I thought
Tom Cruise has never done a bad film.
Oh, God. I thought it would just be a straight-up, fun, action, sci-fi thriller that we could enjoy. I didn't expect to enjoy it so ironically.
And at least you enjoyed it, so this
did.
Defense of episode stands.
Yes, it's not the first unsuccessful Defense of episode.
Yeah, it's just an interesting change of parameters, I think.
Yeah.
And I was surprised as well. I really enjoyed it. The 2 hours flew by.
Yeah.
Not so much for Nell. But
Crucially.
I really enjoyed it. It's definitely just come out of the Matrix side of films that I like, and it's gone into the Highlander 2 side of things, but with a lot more competency and cohesion than Highlander 2. On the spectrum of so bad it's good movies, I think Equilibrium is sort of it's just looking across no man's land towards respectable movies.
I don't know. There's so many moments in there. I mean, when we quickfire, some of them are things that actually work. Some of them are things that were just so fucking funny.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be a lovely mix of the two.
How about we get to that then? Shall we quickfire?
Quickfire. Fucking look at that beautiful Bale and Bean. The two of them together. Just both of them doing their job like that.
There's something otherworldly about Bale's haircut as it cut, because that's how he's introduced, is through the back of his head. The car pulls in, we've seen nothing but scuzzy people and mess and horribleness. And then he gets out of the car, and it's this weird sort of eerie music. And it's just his perfect little haircut, and these two youthful-looking clerics. It is surreal, in a good way. They're kind of alien.
Okay, one thing, Sean Bean has never looked youthful for as long as I've known him. But also, that was the Christian Bale haircut of the noughties, wasn't it? Every film that he was in, it was the slicked back.
It was his Batman cut. In the opening monologue, when there's lots of serious talk about emotions and Saddam Hussein and all these various shots, it was like, okay, I remember this being quite straight-faced. Then we get the first original piece of footage, and it's of the fucking Gun Carter guy doing his stuff in silhouette. Oh, and it's so funny. his little movements, just because it's also the first piece of footage, so it's like, we could no longer tolerate emotion, and then cut to Gun Carter guy as if this is the alternative.
I really like the silence when he bursts and it goes dark, and everyone's nervous whispers when they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Anybody get him? Did anybody hit him? Shut up. Listen.
A subtle hint. Fichtner, William Fichtner, is revealed to be the leader of this resistance. He appears in an early-on sequence in which a theatre full of people is listening to a very, again, impassioned speech by the fucking leader of this emotionless society.
Yeah.
You know what? With the emotionless society, I just kept thinking of the neutral planet from Futurama.
Yeah.
Tell my wife hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, William Fichtner's the first one to stand up and start applauding,
Yes.
thereby slightly hinting at the fact that he's actually feeling, and that he slipped up a little bit there.
I like the difference in meanings of the conversation that Bale and Bean have in the car.
Bale and Bean.
Where Bale and Bean.
Bean's carpet movers.
The difference in meaning. So when he's saying, how long, Preston, before we burn every last bit of it? And Christian Bale is fucking pumped about this. I really love the cross wires that go on in this car. It's great.
Shit, this is so funny. I'm sorry, it's during the big emotional moment where Bale shoots Bean. And just before he does it, though, they're looking eye to eye. And suddenly, just from below shot, Bean's book just slides into view.
Which
I'm sorry, it's pure Family Guy. I remember being moved by that as a kid. It's just like, oh god, he's gonna try and make the last thing he sees this book that he loves, and he knows he's about to die. It's really frightening, but pretty funny how slowly it comes into fucking view.
It's done bad.
A couple of non-party boys here spoiling your fun. Oh, dude, that moment was sick.
Oh, I'm
Fucking
teetotal,
emotional
so
depth.
it's kind of ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Get him! Christian Bale is the master of subtle expressions in this film.
and
I mean that genuinely as well as completely insincerely, because there are one or two moments, and when Angus McFadden is I keep thinking Angus McDeaton. It's not his name. It's not anyone's name. Angus McDeaton now in Fife is going to go, unsubscribe.
I lost him.
When he's asking him how did he feel about his wife being incinerated, Christian Bale does this little searching look, as he kind of looks from side to side as though he's looking inside his own brain box to be like, feel? How do you feel?
How do you feel?
Aww. Yeah. And then after sorry, I don't fully understand, sir. It's a cool little moment.
That's pretty good. I like the idea that when the son is telling him a story about his, I don't know, he said, I walked in on someone crying earlier, should I report them? I like the idea that maybe the son was actually testing the dad, to see what the dad would do. Can I reveal to him that I'm, and that on a second watch, the son is actually, throughout the film, trying to test the dad to see if he's actually sensing.
Yes. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was actually a plan all along. It was a nice little game of cat and mouse and cat.
Cat, mouse, and cat. That's how we play it at my house. And also, when he terrifying Damien kid says to his sister, "Stop doing that."
Yeah.
It's not just because he finds it annoying; it's because he's worried the sister's going to give herself away.
Yeah.
So it's like a protective thing.
Yeah, it's great. And I think there's something really tragic about the people who would risk feeling it again, even if it means death. It's people just like holding on to this book of poetry because it's that important. For a heavy-handed film, it's done quite nicely. The one moment that comes to mind is when Christian Bale he apologizes to Sean Bean and he says, "No, you're not. You don't even know the meaning." And it's this amazing concept of just not getting the need for an apology.
Yeah.
It really gets across the chasm between the two at that time.
I really like the match storage thing that he finds. There are some neat little things in that cupboard, but in his little Beethoven room that he finds. But one of them is this weird little match thing. It's like a caddy with a place to strike the match, and then he uses it to light a lantern. Oh, it was a neat little detail, and it was very tactile. Him sort of interacting with it.
But I also like the contrast between Yates and Mother Goose. the Christian Bale is left reading fucking Mother Goose as he's having his massive realization.
Oh, his line,
Fine. Are you going back in the trunk?
was the first really relatably human thing that Bale did for me. I liked him talking to the dog, and it was a sweet moment, and it was the first for me.
And his dog saving plan is so rubbish.
Do you mean his bullshit when he's just like, I'm telling you, this is a waste of time. You don't need to look in my trunk. Honest.
No, when he's, I must take it for testing.
Well,
yeah, that's right.
He's so bad at lying. But maybe in a future when no one feels anything, nobody's got any apparatus whatsoever to detect when other people are either having emotions or lying.
Well, yeah.
It's like,
there'd be no,
he had a
there'd be
weird
no
intonation in his voice.
Yeah.
I wonder what that was about.
Like, it's going to be a society where nobody's ever had any practice lying ever. So it's only really completely understandable that sex offenders get found out. Because they're like kids.
I'm going to go and have sex with your brother. Have fun. Wear a coat. It's cold out.
Could this be a way of explaining away all of the ridiculous overreactions of the people who feel and don't feel, and how obvious it is, but maybe not to them? They don't know what lying is. It's like that great Ricky Gervais film.
Okay, just a couple of moments around the trunk scene. So first of all, there's good tension building up to the discovery of the dog.
Yeah.
And then I liked some shots of the shootout. The whacking the guns back around to face the faces of the people is quite silly. As is air pumping both shotguns on nothing.
Satisfying though.
I did like the aerial shot of him fucking zigging and zagging and shooting people and dust flying out of them in turn as he points at them. It must have been difficult to plan, and it looked quite good, and it did not look utterly fucking ridiculous like the Darkness version of it from earlier.
I think one of my favourite fights actually was Taye Diggs and Bale with the kendo sticks. Not kendo, but you know what I mean, like the nightsticks.
Yeah, like the batons.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just played in real time. But I also really like the end of it, where they get each other in those, I don't know what the term for it would be, but they each...
Like a stalemate.
Yeah. So Taye Diggs has the nightstick on his shoulder, and he taps it on the shoulder to go, I've beaten you, sir. Then Christian Bale sort of nods down, and he's got his nightstick just cupping Taye Diggs' balls. And he gives it a nice, like, slow, steady pat.
Yeah.
Which is...
once again, my complete lack of feeling in my balls has been my downfall.
Damn you, Taye Diggs' balls. That's what he calls his balls.
Christian Bale says to one of the Resistance people, the Resistance guy says to him, "No, he'll shoot us in the back." And he says, "If I was going to shoot you, I'd shoot you in the face."
Yeah.
That's quite
good logic. But actually, in the world, I think, it does actually feel lived in here. They got that right.
Yeah.
It feels populated.
Except for the rubbish establishing shots of the city with its...
Well, yes.
Yeah.
There's an hour and 45 minutes to make up for that.
When he breaks somebody's arm at the elbow, a little puff of blood comes out of the elbow.
Yes.
Which was grisly, and I quite like. Little arterial spray.
Yeah. Ooh, titillating.
That was a bit saucy.
When Cleric Preston is trying to weasel his way out of killing these guys, every time Taye Diggs interrupts him with "Cleric," it just got slightly more impatient, just ever so slightly. But it was really good. It was an actual moment of tension in the film.
These people should be taken for clinical interrogation.
Cleric, Father's rulings are quite clear. Offenders ought to be shot on sight.
They have valuable information.
Cleric.
They can be put to much better
Cleric.
use.
It was like, you cannot get out of this. Finally, somebody's seeing through his bullshit, his crazy, unbelievable bullshit.
He's going through Sean Bean's belongings, and I think he finds like the most natural family picture I've ever seen in a motion picture. Like, it was even in like a Mike Leigh movie, I've never seen family photos that look like this. It's just 4 very English-looking fucking people on an awful sofa with ugly wallpaper. It was the most human thing I've ever seen in my life.
Thinking about Poundland.
Can of Red Bull off the side.
Wait, even more human than Jim Broadbent?
Even more so.
God.
Most human of all of us.
Better go and rethink a lot of things.
I'm the iconoclast. Ooh. All emotions flow through me.
Communism is the logical next step. God. Faith in the figurehead.
God, what's happening to Jim Broadbent? It's a little upsetting, isn't it?
Just try not to look in a mirror. The teacher's fear as Christian Bale threatens him is heartbreaking.
That's interesting. My next moment is exactly about that, but it's not that.
Oh, wow. For me, it was the florist in Godfather levels. Okay. He looked so fucking scared down to his core. It was heartbreaking. It was difficult to watch.
My moment is less... it might show us up as being different kinds of people. I thought it was really funny how the teacher got thrown onto the table and how fucking neatly he lands. Because Like, it's not like a leg is over the edge of the table or something. He's entirely flat out on the table, like a corpse, just in a perfect throw. And you see the throw happen, like, in shot.
Look,
I think that's what perturbed him the most.
Have you ever been thrown by a Tetragrammaton cleric? You would know that they could fucking hit a target from 100 meters with that judo throw.
He could fucking lay you out on a fence post.
You take that back about Jim Broadbent's gun kata.
Ah! I've never been so comfortable. Ah!
Fichtner and Bale, the pairing we've waited so long to see, finally happened. It's great.
Oh, McFadden. He gently, just when he's standing up, Bale notices that he gently strokes the desk with his hand in the same way that Bale has been doing. And it's this idea that when they feel things, they feel the need to sort of touch stuff in a way that they don't before. And that was nice and subtle, but that's moments before, are you playing with me, cleric?
Stop! You're bullshit, cleric. I really liked Emily Watson in this. I thought she was great. She was brimming with emotion all the way through.
She was fucking radiant, even when moments away from being executed. I did like her death scene. I thought that was well handled, where we sort of zoom into Christian Bale's eye to see her.
That's a very early naughty shot. Close up on the eye. Ooh.
Stop directing this film, Jim Broadbent.
The fear of the beholder's in the soul. Ooh.
Dramatic compositions.
I really like the reveal of the swordsman on the final level, just before the boss. They're all hiding behind pillars. How long were they behind pillars? No. Can't we come out yet, boss? He's gonna know we're here because he's coming through the door, so he's gonna see two of us at least.
Also, the plan is that we're just gonna walk up to him and then just stand there for him for a while, right? Yeah. That's the plan. Are you playing with me, guard number 3?
Fuck me. Yeah, it's silly, but it kind of looked cool it looked cool to the audience.
Yeah,
but practically just nonsense.
I really like the way that Bale has to lean his head to the left in order to look around them, in order to continue to make eye contact with Angus McFadden.
And I do like that when he's looking at the swordsman, who is also supposedly not feeling.
Yeah.
He just lets out a low, menacing.
What are you gonna do about it, bitch? Tony, that's too aggressive. Stop it. I don't like fighting with Tony. Okay, he makes it too real. After this, I'm gonna come get your mum. What? Tony? Found it very funny, Taye Diggs' double take. When he figures out he's been duped. And he's like, I told you I'd bring you the man who was gonna destroy the world. And I have. And Taye Diggs is like, huh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Me?
Superb. But I'm Taye Diggs.
I'm Taye Diggs.
Added to that, I like Angus McFadden's look of, oh shit, when Christian Bale takes out all the swordsmen.
Yes, which he does again. Or a slightly disconcerted look when Taye Diggs has just had his face sliced off. It's just kind of like...
Shit.
Ew.
I wasn't expecting that, and I had not planned for this. The Taye Diggs fight was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Nice setup and quick dispatch. Very unexpected.
Yes, very quick. That was good. It had a samurai quality to it in that sense.
Yes.
I've been watching all of Lone Wolf and Cub this week, so I very much appreciate a 2-second sword fight.
Yes.
Followed by a face slice.
Oh. Talk to me about face slices.
In and amongst the hallway scenes, some of which look good. I know there's backflips and shit, but in and amongst it, there's so many dumb details, and one of which is he ejects the clips from his handgun, and they hit the camera, and they go... The fuck was that, Kurt Wimmer?
That's one of them sound effects, wasn't it?
So dumb.
I kind of like the hand fight at the end when they're like palming each other's guns off.
Yeah, I used to love that when I was young. I'd never seen anything like that, and I just thought it was the coolest fucking thing, and it still looks alright.
It is cool, and it's a game of it's definitely a fight of tactics.
Yeah,
and it was two katas sort of facing off against each other, and it was cool.
Just before he's about to shoot all of the screens that are projecting that he's now realised fake father, he has a moment where he touches the screen. And partly it might just be because Kurt Wimmer thought it would be cool to have blood on father's face.
Probably that.
Probably that. But I don't know, maybe there's a hint of that he misses father. He misses the certainty that he offers, because he used to appear on every screen, probably throughout Bale's entire life, telling them facts you can believe. Reaffirming a mission that you can go along with. Maybe he misses that certainty a little bit before he decides that it does need to die.
Yeah. It's well thought through. And I mean, all I've got left really is that the end. I thought I like the end. The whole at what cost thing. That's good. And that's all I've got to say on Equilibrium.
My last thing is that I do like the eloquent solution they had to the fact that they want the guns to have impact, but they don't want to show blood because that'll get them an R rating. So everyone's just full of dust.
Yeah.
I've always loved that, and I think it's a very eloquent solution that I'd like more PG-13 movies to adopt.
Yeah.
Why not? Just fill your bad guys with dust.
Yeah. Or have them walking around with books in front of their faces. Because, my God, the blowback on that.
We found page 42 in his fucking cerebellum.
In his antebellum.
It used to be the cerebellum, now it's anti.
Cool.
That was Equilibrium. It's still fun, but not maybe in the way that you remember it being fun.
Yes. It's not the cerebral wonderkind of the early noughties. But it's quite fun at times, and the guns go bam.
They do go bam. We don't usually talk about One Better Thing when we talk about when we do this, but we've mentioned a lot of really good books, guys. Specifically 1984 for The Oppressive Society, Brave New World for The Oppressive Society and Use of Drugs, and Fahrenheit 451 for its sort of anti-intellectualism thing, which gets really well explored in there. What else? A Clockwork Orange in terms of, at what cost, moralism style thing, free will versus collective responsibility stuff. Yeah, if you haven't read any of those, go ahead, because they're fucking great.
Yeah.
And John Wick does the whole martial arts with guns slightly more credibly. So, Look, put John Wick on and read Brave New World, and I think you'll have a pretty similar experience to watching Equilibrium back in 2002.
Yeah, and stay away from Jim Broadbent.
For the love of God, society, stay the fuck away from that man.
He got a GoPro for his birthday, and now he thinks he's a director.
Now there's no stopping him.
He can no longer separate fiction from reality. Equilibrium 2, 2019.
Ooh, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Ooh.
Ooh, 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 if you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face. Forever. Ooh.
Coming soon, Jim Broadbent's 1984.
1984 Shakespeare in Love.
You ever imagined 1984 told through the perspective of Jim Broadbent? Join me, Christopher Nolan.
In Jim Broadbent Shakespeare-a-thon.
By Christopher Nolan.
He fucking puts his name at the end of every film. And the winner of the 2019 Oscar for Best Film, 1984 Shakespeare in Love by Christopher Nolan. Take
it away, Hans. Oh, shit. Okay, that's Equilibrium, guys.
Yeah.
Paul, where can everyone find out about this?
Well, you can subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and Podbean and all the podcatchers if you haven't already. Doing it gets the episodes right in your face even before we even know that they're there. So what's that going to do for your friendship circles? As for getting in touch with us, we strive to be uncontactable, but if you do want to send us a message in a sort of virtual bottle, you can do that on Twitter at OGTpod, Facebook /OGTpod. You can send us an email at ogtpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Other than that, keep it Equilibrium. I'm tired.
And I'm Paul Salt.
I'm Paul Goodman.
And remember, the one good thing about Equilibrium by Kurt Wimmer is that you have to be this drunk to ride this train.
But that dog definitely should have died.
This one's for the secret fans. You did ever so well to get to the best bit of the song. You know the code. Yeah, you win.
Jenny?
Hey guys,
Fat Four Stick! Optimus Prime Hurley!
This was the perfect opportunity to open it up and remember how awful.
How much you hate your fucking auntie.
Right, that's the groundwork laid. Right, unleash the vicious dogs.
Great danger for Virgos. One for C's.
You know what? I don't have my laptop in front of me. But I remember this being a part because I remember thinking, ooh, Count Dooku's not going to like this bit. Well, what do you want to do about dinner?
No, Becky, no.
You live by the turd, you die by the turd.
Do you reckon they filmed all the parent scenes in just some fucking stranger's house as well? You should really think about becoming an estate. Oh shit, they're back!
You might have mentioned that at the beginning of the fucking journey. They just drove for 10 hours. Well, you know, it's just...
You didn't bloody speak to me.
I stopped 5 times on the way here.
You didn't say a bloody word all fucking journey. I asked you how you were. I asked you how your mum was.